the EMR for all project to implement OpenMRS running on Raspberry PI, which is a mini server enabled to operate in a remote area and the places where there are issues, electricity or internet location. So we managed to deploy different products, including the all free integrated in PI, so through Docker installation. We also had the Bamni on Raspberry PI with a free media module that was running. The Udo one wasn't finalized, but we are about to finish it to have the full Bamni setup on Raspberry Pi. We have an AI agent that run offline now for the recent test that we tested. So you can now operate AI on offline mode. And then we have our EMR kit, which is now more ready for deployment, which is a full set, an in-one with Raspberry Pi, UPS, local wires, high volume. So I'm going to shift to my colleague, Tendo, to present a quick sum of the screenshot of those different products that we highlighted, and the rest will be considered for next call. I will also put a link for those who wish to have different videos on the different topics. Tendo.
All right. So just like Benjamin highlighted, I'll just give a brief overview of what we went through on Bamni. You may say, oh, well, that's just a server. We'll just throw everything over there and everything will work perfect. Well, that was not the case. When we tried, well, we tried a couple of distros and they worked fine. But for Bamni, when we went to start implementing it, the major challenge was most of the images were developed to run on AMD 64 architectures. That is mostly your normal computers. No, but the Raspberry Pis are basically designed, at least the latest ones, they run an ARM64 architecture. So on start, some screens could start, or some images could basically start, but others that are not built on that architecture could not work. So we had to develop a couple of images, and later on we'll be transferring them just in case to the OpenMRS repo for those who may need. So we managed to customize or create custom images that run on ARM64 architectures, and Bamni, the EMR component started successfully. The Udo component also started successfully. The radiology module, the OpenLS module, and the one that does analytics, it also started fine. So those are also available, which we'll be sharing later on. I cannot share my my Raspberry Pi right now because I cannot access it right now. But I'll go ahead and share something now, which is for the AI bit that we've been working on. Currently, there was an issue, and it was about reporting. And when we tried to develop those reports, we noticed, those of you who have done some work with a cohort builder, you notice there are times when you may have to write SQL, and sometimes it's really complicated. So we built an agent, and this agent basically converts your normal language, which is English, and it writes SQL, and so it basically connects to the OpenMRS database directly, converts whatever you're trying to query, and then it will bring it back in English. So in short, that is what the agent does. Let's see what's okay. Sorry, I ran the wrong command. Let me just try to run it here quick. Yeah. Right. Sorry. All right. So it will start on that. It will start right there. And so I'll try to query something here, maybe from the database. I'll say, hey, and you get me a drag with whose maybe drag ID. Some of the challenges we have is some of these things are not nicely coded or mapped, so you may have to write as it is from the database. Get me a drag whose ID is 304, maybe that one. Oops. So this is complaining. So instead, I'll just play a video directly of what the earlier recording was. So you notice there, I just do a quick forward to the actual thing that happens. My system is complaining because of RAM. So that is the agent. Now the challenges are, we've tried to run a couple of modules and they would start fine using the Ollama platform that is locally, but they would not run. They would not run. But that is locally. But when you try to use a provider like Hugging Face or LangChain or any other, or maybe OpenAI, they would work fine, but that means you're connected to them and you're basically sharing your data with them. So what we have here is we have an agent that is running on my machine using a relatively, I would say relatively small model, and this model, the one I used for this case, is called Quen 2.5 coder, which is a 1.5 billion param coder. Sorry, param LLM, and it worked fine. It worked fine on my PC, though it's a little bit slower. We tried a couple of them on the cloud, on AWS cloud, the bigger ones like Quen 32, which is a 32 billion param LLM. It could not work. So it basically required more resources, meaning you have to pay more money for you to get the necessary compute. But we successfully at least ran this with LangChain, Ollama, and this particular model. And interestingly, it brought back results. We tried to experiment this, and it brought back some records, though it's a little bit slower, but interestingly, there was no hallucination. So you can notice here, the thought, I'll just first of all pause that video just quickly. So you notice it is taking you through the thought process. It is saying, hey, that is the question from me, the user. Get me a drag whose ID is that one. That is what it got from me. And now it basically translates into that. And it basically brings back the entire record as it should be. So that is it. You notice if you're to write the plain SQL, that is what you get from the OpenMRS database. And the agent is basically doing it for you. We just basically using plain language. So that is a prototype of what we wanted to share. Notice the final results. If we created a simple UI there, which we don't want to show the users all that trouble of the command line. So pretty much that is what we wanted to share today. Thank you very much.